our guest for this afternoon is international law expert Ralph Sarmiento. Attorney Sarmiento, of course, is the former dean of the University of St. La Salle College of Law. Dean Sarmiento, thank you for joining us again. Welcome back.
Yes po.
Salamat,
Magandang
Dean.
hapon po. Opo.
Turuan mo kami din. Nagpapanggap lang kami ng learned dito eh. Pasensya na.
Sir, we're trying to wrestle with the possibilities of what happened. Kasi one moment we were all excited, next moment parang, pinalaya? Ganun pala yun. So what do we know about Czech law and what could have happened here?
Well, actually, ang biggest news and update ngayon is yung apparently he has a pending application for asylum
Sa
in
France.
France. Opo.
France.
So and that will completely change the entire equation. Yun yung sinasabi natin na posibleng magpatagal sa buong proseso in case he would be applying for asylum in any of the Schengen states. Now, we do not know if the petition for asylum was filed before he was detained at the German border. So we do not know, or if it was only filed recently after he was, detained at the German border and then, transferred to the authorities in the Czech Republic.
Pero di ba there's also the Dublin Accord. I understand na you should be you should be filing your asylum at the country of entry or the country where
not necessarily po yung sa Dublin regulations po. You can only file asylum in one Schengen state.
Okay.
So meaning to say, once naka-file ka na doon, hindi pwedeng mag-forum shopping ka in different Schengen states. So for example, nag-file ka ng application for asylum in France and then it was denied. So hindi ka na pwedeng mag-file sa iba kasi ibabalik ka sa jurisdiction ng France.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Dean, yesterday we spoke to DILG Secretary John Vicramulya and he was explaining to us na kapag may political connection yung asylum seeker, not asylum seeker, yung subject of a red notice application, the process is a lot more complicated. So as opposed to, I was asking him what's the difference between the red notice application for Atong Ang and Zaldi Ko. Kasi yung kay Ang, mas mabilis nakuha. It came much faster. And he said, whenever there's a political connection to it, the authorities, the Secretariat of Interpol takes a much longer time to assess it. I wonder if you knew anything about that and can talk to us about what the difference is.
Well, yung pong sa Interpol agreement, may political resolution po yun. Whenever may political angle po yung application or the crimes for which the person is requested to be provisionally arrested and then be brought back to the country requesting for the red notice. Basta may political connection yon or may political angle yung cases, no, kahit na criminal cases yon. Normally it will take some time for the Interpol to assess and evaluate the same. Kasi po yung theory doon, yung purpose noon, the Interpol should not be used for political maneuvering or for some political for the political benefit of some politicians in one particular state. So hindi po pwedeng gamitin yung Interpol for that particular purpose. So they also need to ensure na hindi wala pong political persecution na nangyayari.
I wonder if you know what extra questions are asked if the subject has a political connection.
Well, not necessarily po. I don't think na pwede mong gamitin sa Interpol yung political connection mo. This is an international body and normally basta sa mga international body po we trust.
Yeah. No.
Yung political connection will not.
No. I meant I wonder if you knew what extra questions are asked about the application kapag ka may political angle. If there's a political connection, what other questions does the Interpol ask and what other background checks do they do?
I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood your question. Yung question po doon, you just have to prove na this is not for political persecution. Na this is purely, he's being requested, the red notice is being requested purely for a criminal case and not for purposes of political persecution. So they just have to be sure na yung angle na yon na hindi siya ginagamit ng Interpol for political purposes. So wala pong specific na requirement doon. It's usually taken on a case-to-case basis to be evaluated by the Interpol.
Professor, nung unang naglabas ng statement yung gobyerno, no less than the president, ang sabi nila, arrested. Eventually, sinabi ng gobyerno, he was detained. And then, sabi ng Czech Republic, he was accosted. No, accosted. No, so ano ba talaga technically yung nangyari? Detained, arrested, accosted? Paano, ang nakakapagtaka, bakit matagal? Bakit matagal siya
Kasi
sa
po yung mga
custody?
terms na arrest, taking a person into custody or detention, may mga specific meaning po ito sa batas. Kahit nito sa Philippine law, may mga specific meaning po yan. When you say arrest, you take a person into custody for purposes of surrendering him to the judicial authorities for purposes of facing criminal prosecution or trial. So yun po yung purpose ng arrest. So an arrest is usually directed towards a particular criminal case. So so technically hindi po natin pwede magamit yung arrest kasi number one po is facing a criminal charges in the Philippines. And yung pursuant to the principle of territoriality, yung criminal law po natin hindi po enforceable outside of our territorial jurisdiction. So hindi po tayo pwedeng mag-arrest outside. So a person cannot be arrested outside of our jurisdiction to face criminal prosecution for a Philippine case unless may red notice and then pursuant to Interpol parang coordination na parang we requested and then yung red notice, it's a request for the provisional arrest of the person to be taken into custody by the states na mga member ng Interpol na makakakita sa kanya. And then he would be processed din po based on local laws and rules of that particular state. So kung malalaman nila na ma-establish na talaga may basis yung red notice na may pending criminal cases siya, so dun po magkaka-surrender, magkaka-transfer of custody.
Pero Dean, as you can imagine, a lot of people are asking if Zaldico was taken into custody for not having the necessary travel papers, why was he released by Czech authorities? Kasi kung sa Pilipinas yan, at least sa Pilipinas, of course, iba ang batas sa Czech Republic. Kung sa Pilipinas kasi yan, wala kang papeles, detain ka, tapos I suppose send you
Deported.
send you back
Deported.
to your country of origin or something like that.
Kasi po
Do you
hindi
know how it
ganun
works
kasimple yung rules sa Schengen states eh. In the first place, number one, we have to consider na may principle of parang free mobility within the 29 Schengen states. So
Okay.
technically, dapat walang border yan, wala din
Yeah.
border check yan. So apparently, yung nangyari kasi kay Mr. Saldico was that he was coming from the Czech Republic and then pumunta siya ng Germany.
Apo.
And then parang nagkataon lang po na may parang either checkpoint or parang siguro may hinahanap sila siguro. And then they were checking the identity of the persons passing by that particular checkpoint. So na-timingan siguro na when he was asked for identity papers, not necessarily passport, but identity document. And then when they found out na foreigner siya, so normally yung hanapin nila is passport. Kasi when you're foreigner, yung pinaka-proof of identity mo talaga is the passport.
Opo.
And then so apparently, so wala siyang dalang valid passport. Expired ng passport do yung pinalabas niya. And German law, hindi siya pinapasok. So he was transferred into the custody kung saan sa nagaling sa Czech Republic. And then so it was, so yung alam natin, this was parang treated like a normal immigration or parang border violation siguro or something like that, no? Kasi hindi daw nakarating sa level ng Justice Department ng Czech Republic. So meaning to say wala pang specific na case or kahit na immigration case na na-file against sa kanya. So it was merely a case of like an ordinary traveler who found himself not bringing a valid passport and then naharang ka. So normally, i-detain ka until you can establish kung anong basis na nandun ka sa Schengen area. So with the new development na may pending applications for asylum in France, so more likely, kung i-connect natin yung mga dots, more likely yun siguro yung basis ng for example, that he was able to establish na may pending application siya. So now, parang apparently, he has to be transferred to the jurisdiction of the French authorities where he has a pending application for asylum.
That's what you
So
meant when you said.
was he transferred, Professor, o kusa lang siyang pumunta ron?
Well, yun yung problem natin dito kasi yung siyempre based on narinig natin sa press conference ni Secretary Vida kagabi or nung madaling araw, parang he was released and wala nang binigay na parang additional details or information because of data privacy. And of course, yung data privacy kasi mas mahigpit kasi yung protection of data privacy in the European Union, mga states, no? So apparently, wala na silang binigay na additional information. So we can only guess kung anong nangyari kung if he was just released, no? And then set free na to freely roam around the Schengen states, or if he was transferred to the custody of the French authorities. So
Where he applied
we wait
asylum.
for further updates and developments on this matter.
Professor,
But the thing-
can we deduce na wala siyang Portuguese passport? Dahil kung meron siyang Portuguese passport, pwede naman niyang ipakita sa Czech Republic kahit digital copy.
Technically po. Pero I don't think he has a Portuguese passport po. Kasi to have a Portuguese passport, kasi yung passport po is a proof of nationality. So to have a Portuguese passport or to be issued with one, you have to be a national of Portugal. Hindi pwede na resident ka lang. So normally for a foreigner to be to qualify and to apply for a Portuguese passport, you have to apply for Portuguese nationality. For example, may minimum requirements sila ng 5 years
Yes, sir.
residency bago ka maka-apply doon. And I don't think he has already complied with that. So
Can we
so
also deduce that asylum application was filed long ago, or at least months ago? Because I remember in Harry Roca's case, we asked him at one point what he was using to travel around, because of course his passport was also canceled. Sabi niya there was a document that the court had given him. I don't know if it was a court, but he had an official document stating that he had a pending asylum application, which I assume isn't easy to get. It's not like you put in your application online, tapos makukuha mo na siya agad. I assume it takes a while. So can we, by that logic, can we also deduce that matagal na final itong asylum application?
May malaking possibility kasi if he was not in the Philippines for several months na. So depende kung ano yung kanya talagang game plan, and I would suppose na talagang yung asylum parang gusto nang i-duplicate yung strategy ni former spokesperson Harry Roque. So yung asylum talaga is the number one na remedy na pwede niyang i-replicate, for him to have a right for indefinite stay in the Schengen states. So siguro may malaking possibility na may pending applications for asylum even before he was accosted or checked or detained at the German border, no? So kung may pending applications so it will further complicate things because of the doctrine of non-refoulement. Yung doctrine of non-refoulement, basta may pending application ka for asylum, you cannot be brought back to your country of origin until the application for asylum is decided by the state where you applied for asylum. So
Absolute ba yan, Prof? Absolute ba yung law na yan? Or may exceptions, katulad halimbawa ng red notice, katulad ng criminal cases, katulad ng human rights violation?
Basta may application for asylum, normally po, I think it will take precedence over a red notice. Kasi yung red notice kasi, it's just a request to locate and to provisionally arrest a person on the basis of a pending criminal case or prosecution in the requesting state. Pero basta may application for asylum in a Schengen state, meaning to say, nasa jurisdiction ng judicial authority ng Schengen state, that has jurisdiction or is taking where the application for asylum is pending. So meaning to say, yung Interpol will have to respect the judicial processes of that Schengen state having that asylum in their jurisdiction.
Dean, so you're saying basically that if there was an application for amnesty, this massively complicates and delays everything.
Technically po. Technically.
Do we have is it possible to even put in a timetable here? What kind of timetable we are looking at if there really is an amnesty application?
Well,
I don't know if that's a reasonable
normally po
question.
yung mga application for asylum talagang tumatagal, no? Tumatagal talaga. Kasi ang daming ano niyan, ang daming mong i-prove, no? So when you apply for asylum, pero of course yung burden of proof nasa applicant din yan to establish na talagang may well-founded belief of persecution based on either political, religious, or yung ethnic background mo, no? Back in your home state. So kailangan mo ding establish yun. But hindi ka naman talaga mamadaliin sa process. There is a judicial process for that. And then you will be given ample opportunity to establish those facts and to prove na talagang may well-founded belief of persecution. So bibigyan sa ng chance to establish that, to present evidence, to establish those allegations. So it will take some time for the judicial process to grind.
So hindi pwedeng 3 weeks na sinasabi earlier.
Kung asylum po hindi
May
po.
babalik siya.
Asylum normally
Talaga
it will take
Goodbye,
years.
Philippines yun.
It will take years. Opo.
Years.
Ikaw talaga, Ed, he apologized for that na nga.
but years. We're looking at years possibly just for that case. Just
Posible
for
po.
that application.
Opo.
Yeah, I suppose kasi they also want to be very, very careful in dealing with an application like this because it will get back at them. The European Union is very, very careful with the human rights.
Prof, baka kailangan nyo i-brief yung Malacanang.
I'm sure ang dami po doon. Ang dami mga legal expert po sa Malacanang who are
Baka natatakot magsalita.
Prof, let me take a leap here. What do you think we could have done better? Or what do you think government could have done better or faster? Or, how to have headed something like this off?
Sandali lang po, medyo nakata ko siguro. I didn't get the last question.
I was asking lang, what do you think government could have done better? Or what else could government have done to head off something like this? Yung pagpa-file pala ng application for asylum. Kasi as early as January, we found out that si Zaldico went as far as Sweden to file some legal paperwork. So he's been moving around. So it's not unlikely that he also passed
Prof,
through
to
Paris.
paraphrase yung tanong ni Ed, paano dapat naiwasan sumabog sa mukha ng Malacanang itong issue na ito?
Well, yung asylum really changes the picture eh. Kasi kung talagang naano lang siya, na-hold lang sa border, that would have been that would have been an entirely different case. Kung nahuli lang siya, kung parang na-stop, na border check lang siya and then na-stop lang siya sa border, that would have been easier. Kasi kahit na walang extradition treaty, kahit na walang police cooperation agreement, a simple high-level diplomatic negotiations between the two states. No? For example, yung pinakamataas talaga is the president with president to president or president to prime minister, or at least yung Secretary of Foreign Affairs to Secretary of Foreign Affairs magpadala agad ng diplomatic notes para talaga yung high level talaga. Hindi na you will be waiting for time and then magpapadala ka doon ng delegation just to to talk to the police authorities, and then apparently wala doon sa police authorities, and then so talagang dapat high level yung handling ng matter na mga ganito.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how to say this, pero parang we didn't just miss the ball, we missed the whole ball game.
Ang problema, yung presidente mismo ang nagsabi na arrested. So, dapat kasi may layers muna eh. Para
Yeah.
protect the principal.
Protect me? But as a first step, I agree. That's maybe where I would have started in the framing of it at nang hindi tayo nag-aaway about semantics right now. Because the framing originally came from Malacanang. They said nahuli na, the official press release, the official news article on PCO website says arrested. So we took that lead. And if it had been at the very start something about he was detained at the border for not having official documents. We're going to try to fly in there and get as much information as we can and try to see if we could arrest him or cooperate with international authorities for his detainment. Then it's something else entirely, right? It's the expectation that you had set for everyone.
Opo. I agree.
So
Although, of course, I'm not a lawyer.
Dean, what's the
Accosted
next
nga
step?
eh. Accosted lang daw. Accosted. Yung accosted, parang hinawakan mo lang sa braso. Ganun lang yun.
Hindi naman. Accosted can also mean, yes, detained, stopped, hinarang, and
O
so
kasi
on and so forth.
yung word na nahuli and arrested, that is usually used in connection with a criminal case. So kung sinasabi mo nahuli siya, so it must be nahuli siya because of what, no? Diba? So we're trying to connect that na nahuli siya because of the case in the Philippines. Pero apparently hindi pa na ganun yung nangyari.
And I will go so far as to add the phrase "nahuli na" presupposes that there had been a manhunt, there had been a chase, there
Yeah,
had been
and,
something going on, and finally, bam, we're here, nahuli na. Right? That phrase alone makes you the protagonist, makes the whoever is saying that the protagonist na parang, oh, matagal na hinahabol and finally we're here. But that turns out not to be the case at all.
Yeah, kasi kung wala pong Interpol red notice, so we cannot say that there is an ongoing international manhunt.
Yeah. Dean, if you were to be asked, what should be the next steps in resolving this matter in the most expeditious and efficient manner?
Well, siguro yung dapat gawin ng gobyerno ngayon is to coordinate with the French authorities, no, to verify yung information or yung report about the pending asylum claim or application ni Mr. Saldico, and then take it from there, no. So kung talaga may application for asylum and it's not
Freeze.
Dean,
Nag-freeze.
I think we lost you.
uh,
Dean, sorry, you'll have to repeat that. You're still choppy.
he is being represented, possibly also invoke yung Article 44 nung UNCAC, yung United Nations Convention on Against Corruption. Pwede makatulong yun, no? So, importante lang dito ma-establish ng government na walang basis to say na he is wanted because of political persecution or may danger sa kanya na babalik sa dito, na like possibility na may threat sa kanyang buhay or may possibility of he will be subjected to torture or other mga cruel and degrading punishment, kasi yun yung mga basis na ano eh. So if he can establish na may talagang well-founded belief na may threat sa kanyang life, may possibility of that he's being wanted for, that this is all about persecution because of his na politically motivated or related, so magkaka-basis yung kanyang claim for political asylum.
Yeah. But Dean, in the end, I suppose it's a bit late already because at this point, government is on the defensive. In having to establish these things, it's it's on the defensive. It has to establish these things.
Well, technically po, technically yung burden of proof nasa applicant, pero normally it will be studied by the French authorities, yung judicial authorities nila, kung talaga may basis yung claim for asylum. And normally, European unions, normally, very, very protective for political, sa mga applicants for political asylum. So we really have to be sure na talagang ma-establish natin, maipakita natin sa kanila na walang basis for the claim na may political persecution or may threat to his life. Pero lagay ko gagamitin niya talaga yun threat to his life, yung mga ganun.
Prof, sabi ng spokesperson ng presidente, galit daw yung presidente sa nangyari. Kanino siya galit? Sa Czech Republic? Sa mga opisyalis niya? O saan siya nagagalit? No?
You'd have to ask Malacanang.
Baka yung tanong dapat kanino siya dapat magalit?
Hindi naman.
Oo.
Kanino
Saan ba
siya?
siya galit?
Well, technically po, I cannot say na wala siyang basis magalit sa Czech Republic, no? Kasi number one, wala naman tayong treaty, extradition treaty with them. Wala din tayong police cooperation agreement with them. So wala talaga silang obligation. And the fact na wala ding red notice, no, Interpol red notice. So technically wala sila talagang obligasyon sa atin, no, na gano, unless kahit yung diplomatic negotiations purely voluntary on the part of the Czech Republic being a sovereign state. So we can only request and then invoke principle of comity, mga ganon, under international law, pero otherwise it's not a matter of obligation on the part of the Czech Republic.
Justified kaya ang galit niya sa Interpol?
Well, yung Interpol, hindi mo naman pwedeng pagalitan kasi it's just another organization to which the Philippines is a signatory. So it's just a parang cooperation lang. It's also subject to a set of rules and policies. And then, so you just have to comply with that. So apparently yung nangyari, I think based on the press conference, they just copied yung mga previous applications daw na parang more or less similar nature. So granted ng Interpol previously.
So by deduction, galit siya sa mga tao niya.
By process of elimination, sabi mo yan.
Sir, a question on about the Interpol process kasi we understand that the application for red notice was filed as early as the last quarter of 2025. We're now going to the second quarter of 2026. So parang kalahating taon na. Ganun ba talaga katagal ang process ng pag-apply ng red notice or merong problema doon sa side natin in terms of
No, normally po case-to-case basis pero I don't think there's a reason na talagang magtagal ng ganun, no? Kung kumpleto lang yung document submitted by the Philippines and kung because this is an urgent na
Yes, sir.
request for a red notice. So I suppose na kung hindi sa lumabas, let's say after a couple of weeks or 1 month or 2 months, dapat you should have been making urgent follow-ups with the Interpol. And then para malaman mo ano bang kulang, okay? What else what other documents do you need to submit? Dapat talagang follow-up na talagang yung talagang masinsid na follow-up for the issuance of the red notice.
Kaya sir, kasi magme-May na eh. In a week's time, it's already May. And I think they filed this application for red notice bare month pa eh. Ano ba yun? Was it September?
Kasi hindi mo
October?
po pwedeng mag-file ka lang and then maghintay ka lang, di ba?
Yeah.
So dapat talaga mag-follow up ka para malaman mo ano ba yung kulang, di ba?
Okay. Okay. That's quite depressing. Okay. Reg, Ronald, may pahabol pa kayo.
Okay, we're good.
Okay na ako, baka maging accosted pa ako ng principal.
We'd like to say thank you.
Accosted is such a benign word. More like wag na nga.
Held up. Di ba? We'd like to say thank you to Dean Ralph Sarmiento of the St. La Salle School of St. La Salle School of Law in Bacolod.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po and thank you for elucidating a very elucidating discussion.